Mail-order bride, A Bride for William, a sweet, clean, historical, Western mail-order bride inspirational romance. Sun River Brides, Book 7. Written by Karla Gracey. Narrated by Alan Taylor. Chapter 1. The gavel fell. It was finally over. Maddie sighed with relief as she left the courthouse for the final time. Everything that happened to her since January seemed unreal. The months had dragged by, every day bringing a new pain, a new humiliation, as she had been forced to sit and watch as others decided her fate. But it had been decided, and she was exonerated. Yet, as she listened to the catcalls of the apprentice boys, and saw the way her old friends continued to cross the street or disappear into stores so they did not have to suffer the indignity of conversing with her, she knew that nothing would change. It was too little, too late. She clambered into the carriage that awaited her, and accepted Papa's kiss on her cheek. "Are you quite well?" he asked, concern in his eyes. "You look so pale. Maybe we could send you to the spa at Bristol Springs, or why not Saratoga? Your mamma says it is just the place." "Papa, I am quite well, just tired and glad that it is all done. The last place I wish to be is trapped in a spa with the women who have been gossiping behind my back about all this." "You have been ever so brave, my darling. We shall punish every newspaper and admonish anyone who has sullied your good name." "Papa, no. I would rather just let it all die down, so I can move on with my life." "If you insist," he said pompously. Madelaine knew that tone. It meant he would placate her now, but would ignore her wishes completely. But if it made him feel better to extract revenge on her behalf, then she could do little to stop him. But she could do something to ease her own burden. It would be the hardest thing she had ever done, harder even than fighting to clear her name had been. But she was determined. She would never again be responsible for hurting her family so badly. The carriage pulled up and she ran inside. She could hear Mama weeping in the drawing room, her heavily pregnant sister comforting her. She would let her Papa inform them of the good news. Maddie had grown weary of her mother's fits of the vapors, the constant tears, as if everything was happening to her and not Madelaine. She had no doubt that Papa would be successful in packing Mama off to the spa for a month or two. She was never happier than when she had teams of doctors fussing over her. As she raced up the grand staircase, she wondered if she sounded somehow ungrateful to her parents. She did love them both very much, but they could be so very exasperating at times. She envied her sister having escaped their clutches, but she would do the same, even if her method was a little more unorthodox. A trunk sat at the end of her bed. She emptied of it the piles of bed linens it contained and began to thrust dresses and skirts, books and papers into it, not caring about being neat and tidy. She just wanted to get away from Boston as quickly as she possibly could. She was tired, and it had been the worst time of her life. The sooner she could put it all behind her, the better. "Papa told us you—" her sister cried as she burst into the room. "Won." "Yes," Maddie said, turning to face her. She had kept her plans secret and was not ready for the confrontation about to come. "You can't just run away without anywhere to go," Carolyn said angrily, as she took in the evidence of Maddie's intended flight. "I know you want to hide, to lick your wounds and start again, but where can you go?" "I don't know," Madelaine said sadly, sinking onto the bed. It felt as if she had deflated, as if all of the fight in her had been used up in the past months, and there was nothing left to even keep her breathing. She had endured enough, and the idea of having to face society as if none of it had happened was simply too much for her. "But Boston will not forget this. Oh, they may pretend that nothing happened, because of who you are married to, who Father is even. But they will not ever let me be, in their own way." "I do understand, Maddie, but please don't do anything rash. The girls would miss you terribly, and my time with this one is nigh." She stroked her heavily pregnant belly and looked at her sister with hopeful eyes. Madelaine loved her, but was not prepared to allow anyone to emotionally blackmail her into staying.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?